Phrasal verbs aren't easy to figure out, are they? I've looked into the books and some websites to make sure I had a solid understanding of phrasal verbs. But do you know what I'm finding out? There are a lot of different information about phrasal verbs that make it kind of confusing. But it's my goal to serve everything out and offer you a clear explanation about phrasal verbs. We are going to answer these three important questions. 1. What are phrasal verbs? 2. When do we use them? 3. How do we use them? Let's start with the first question. What are phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are also called two-part verbs, three-part verbs, and multi-word verbs. We are talking about a verb and one or two short words. Together as a phrasal verb, they have a special meaning. This one or two other shorts can be called particles. When these particles come together with a verb, a new definition is made. The particles change the original definition. This is different from just a verb and a preposition or a verb and an adverb. Prepositions and adverbs add information, but they don't change the original definition. Particles do. Learning the definition of phrasal verbs is probably the biggest challenge for some students, because there are hundreds of phrasal verbs used in English. I would like to emphasize the importance of particles comparing these two statements. In the first statement, through the keyhole is only additional information about where the boy is looking, where the eyes are directly seen, and it doesn't change the definition of look. But in the second sentence, we add the particle through, and we get a new definition that is search. Let's see some examples to have a clear definition about phrasal verbs.
I've been using these phrasal verbs at the beginning of my class. Here you can find the meaning of each one. Now we are going to do some examples. Identify the phrasal verb in each pair of statements. 1. Jennifer is thinking about what she can cook for dinner. Jennifer is thinking over what she wrote on her complaint. Which statement has the phrasal verb? Answer. 2. In this case, thinking over means carefully consider before making a decision. 2. Which statement has a phrasal verb? Jennifer said goodbye and hung up. Pictures and photographs hang on Jennifer's wall. Answer. 1. Hang up in this case means end a phone call.
When do we use phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are common in everyday English. They are often less appropriate for formal speech than a one-word equivalent. For example, these phrasal verbs can be replaced with a single word. If I ask something informally about my work, I would like to spend that.
In this example, we can see two phrasal verbs. Example, I really enjoy coming up with ideas and putting together a lesson for you, my students. As we can see, coming up can be replaced by generating, and putting together can be replaced by preparing.
So, depending on how formal the situation is, we have to decide whether or not to use phrasal verbs. The last question: how do we use phrasal verbs? Transitive verbs. They need an object to complete their meaning.
Most transitive phrasal verbs are separable. This means that noun objects can come before or after the particle. Object pronouns come before the particle. Don't put an object pronoun after the particle. Indefinite pronoun objects, something, nothing, someone, no one, everyone, can come before or after the particle. For example, she throws away everything, or she throws everything away.
Intransitive verbs don't need an object to complete their meaning.
Intransitive phrasal verbs. The particle comes after the verb. For example, they came back from vacation today. It's important to know that we cannot put a word or phrase between the verb and the particle of an intransitive phrasal verb. For example, they came from vacation back today. That's wrong. Here you can find some intransitive verbs and some transitive verbs. Those examples will help you to understand easier this topic. I hope this class was helpful for you. I would like to see you the next times. Thank you.